Hey guys, this is Kayla from Roni's Video Game Collectibles, and I wanted to do a few videos about something that's a little bit of a taboo topic within the anime community, and that would be anime and video game bootlegs. And I get a lot of feedback about this. I get some people that are really ecstatic that I'm trying to do something and promote licensed items. And then I get the other side of the people who are over here pirating their anime and enjoying their $10 rip-offs, and they don't care. And I think if we're going to enjoy this industry and actually support the industry that we all love, we should be paying a little bit more attention and getting a little bit more educated about the things that we're buying. Now, I started off exactly the same as everybody else. I attended anime conventions. I went into the dealer's room with all my tax return, and I came out with so much stuff, and it was always so joyful because you'd bring it home, and you'd have a pile of stuff that you could just go through, and you're like, yeah, I really scored big in the dealer's room this year, woo! And now that I actually go through my collection, what I scored big on in the dealer's room was all crap. Crap that has no collection value whatsoever. And I was really disappointed even the other day because I was watching someone who was talking about bootleg CDs. And I said, oh, there's no way that my CDs could be bootleg. You know, I bought those from the vendor was really trusted. You know, everyone was buying DVDs and CDs off of them. And I went to look, and all my CDs that I bought are bootleg. So that's really disappointing for me as a consumer to know that I got ripped off solely because there are vendors in the dealer's room that are just there to take advantage of you. Because I'm going to tell you something. When you run a business, you know the products you're selling. You know where you're getting them from. And even if you're a new startup business, you learn very quickly, just like I did, what the difference is between a bootleg and the real item. And basically, the difference is you're not going to be able to get it from a Chinese wholesaler for 50 cents. You're going to have to actually do work and search out Japanese middlemen to go get this stuff for you. You actually have to make contracts and pay for those contracts, which is extremely expensive, with companies such as Banpresto and Square Enix. So there's a lot to it. And Japanese merchandise is extremely hard to get. I know this because I have over 15 suppliers that took me a year to get. It was a very long process to actually deal with these people and set them up and pay for contracts with them. And it's a daunting process. It's a lot more daunting than in Canada. We have multiple bootleg suppliers. It's a lot more daunting to go actually email someone in Japan and try to figure out shipping and bulk orders in yen. And as opposed to a bootlegger, who they have it all on their extremely sketchy Chinese website. You just click on it, they send it to you in Canadian, the shipping is dirt cheap, and you're making over 100% markup every time. Every time. I don't care what a single vendor says in that dealer's room that is selling knockoff merchandise. They are all making 100%. I know, and I'll tell you why I know. So, as I said, just like you guys, I started out, I was a buyer, and I went into the dealer's room, and I loved being there. I loved the atmosphere. It was so much better than my extremely crappy minimum wage job. And I said, why can't I do this? There's no reason why I can't do this. I love Pokemon. Pokemon was, and still is, my biggest love. And Magikarp, as everyone knows. So I said, I can do this. There's no way. It's not even that hard to run a business. It's a joke. I'll do it. Not a problem. So Originally, I'd actually got my degree in English from university, and I said, I'm just going to go back. I'll get a business degree. It won't even be a big deal. It'll take me like 2 years, and then I'll just run a business. So that's what I did. I went and I got my business degree, and I started up my business. And I said, oh, not a problem. So first thing on my list was suppliers. I said, I need some stuff to sell before I can do anything. So I went to a little store in Ontario. I won't say which store. This video is not about degrading other businesses, so I'm not going to go there. And they actually, surprisingly, gave me a list of 4 bootleg suppliers, which I had no idea at the time. I said, oh, you're a legit anime store. Okay, cool. So I contacted all of these suppliers, and they were willing to deal with me. So I said, perfect. It's really, really simple. And they all said our items are imported. They're like highest quality. All our figures are amazing, and all of our plush are great. And I said, oh, that sounds awesome. I'm doing a really good job right now. I got my stuff together, guys. So what I put through an order with every single supplier. I was like, ooh, I'm getting into it. And I was really happy when this stuff arrived. It looked great. It looked amazing. I got a bunch of those, 12-inch Pokemon plush. Go look them up on eBay. They're everywhere. Which are considered unofficial items because those, they're not actually knockoffs of an already made plush. They're original designs, but using Nintendo's pre-made characters. And I got keychains, and I got figures, and I was all set, guys. Like, I had everything. I was good to go. Anime conglomerate over here. And so I wanted to expand. So what I did was I posted on an anime forum. And that was a huge eye-opener for me. Because I had so many people that were tearing me apart. They were like, those are unofficial items. What are you doing? And I had no idea. I had, honestly, no idea. But again, I was 3 months in. I just knew that I liked Pokemon. And I wouldn't recommend starting out like that to anyone. So, it really affected me. It really affected me because I started doing a little bit of research and looked up, what a bootleg item was, what an unofficial item was. And I realized that I was selling illegal products. I was selling products that nothing went to the creators of the video games and the shows that I loved. And that really bothered me, because I have a conscience. So, I just sat down, and I remember literally just putting my head in my hands, and I was like, this is a disaster. Like, what do I do at this point? And you know what I did? Shut it down. I shut it down because I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to educate myself, and then I'm going to start back up again. So I took a year off. I went back to work, and I started educating myself. What is the difference between this Pokédoll tag and this canvas plush and this plush by Banpresto? And it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But I feel as a business owner, this is my responsibility to do for my customers. I said, I have to be educated enough that I can explain to my customers, well, this is $20 because it's Tomy and it's made in North America, and this is $50 because it's a limited edition Pikachu plush from the Mega Tokyo opening. Or, I had to be able to actually articulate these things to my customers, which I would say 98% of the vendors in the dealer's room aren't able to do. Half of them won't even know what a Pokédoll is. Half of them will never have even held a real Pokédoll. So this is kind of how I got into this. And as of now, I started back up at the beginning of 2014, and I dove right in. I was like, I'm going to find all these suppliers. I'm going to sell licensed items. And that's how I actually worked into my partnership with suppliers with the Pokemon Center in Tokyo, with Banpresto directly, with Good Smile Company, with Takara Tomy, all of these people, because I contacted them and I said, I am desperate to support you. I want to support you. Let's make this happen. And that's what happened. It's literally like they say off Dragon's Den. All you can do is send an email. If it goes badly, it goes badly. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And every time I send an email, it's never gone badly. Like, I don't get it. It's easy to do, but the research and the actual importing of the goods and the actual education side is difficult to do. And this is why most vendors don't do it. And to date, I've been in my fair share of dealers' rooms. I know 95% of the dealers. I have a few that don't like me at all, which is understandable. I mean, I'm there directly saying that your products are illegal, so I'm gonna get some hate over that. Sadly, when I walk into the dealer's room, 98% of every single dealer's room that I've ever walked into is all bootleg. Even Fan Expo. And the sad thing is that when you get all of these vendors coming together, they're all using the same suppliers. So they generally all have the same products. You'll see a few different booths with those, they're towering booths with the 12-inch Pokemon plush that are unofficial. You'll see Keyblade necklaces everywhere. You'll see bootleg Nendroids. And it doesn't add any sort of variety to the dealer's room, and it doesn't support our industry that we love in any way. So for people like me to actually come into a dealer's room and compete with these people is a very daunting task, because I literally have to explain to almost every single customer when they come over why my Groudon is $55, because the one over at the other table is $20. Because it came from the Pokemon Center, and stuff isn't cheap. Japanese products, for people who collect Japanese products, you'll realize that your collections are extremely expensive. Japanese products are never cheap. If they are, then you're probably not holding an authentic product. So it just bothered me. I mean, I know probably four dealers, and this would be at Fan Expo, this would be at any convention, large or small. They all have the same vendors. It's all the same people applying. I know probably 4 vendors that sell licensed items out of the 200 to 300 that are always in the room. Everyone else is selling bootlegs. I can walk over to a table, I can pick out every single thing that's a bootleg. People selling swords. People selling life-size Keyblades. Guess what? Square Enix never released a life-size Keyblade. Ever. They never have. So everyone that you ever see is a bootleg. And you're not just messing with Square Enix when you do that, you're messing with Disney too, and you do not want to mess with Disney, because they are the lords of cracking down on bootleg. So, let's really quickly talk about how to tell a bootleg apart from the real thing. And I have a blaringly obvious example here, but this is just some of the things that you can look for. You'll immediately spot the difference. So, this is the first guy that I'm going to show you. We all know who this is. It's Flareon. Flareon is awesome. It's an Eevee evolution, of course. Everybody loves Eevees. And Flareon has a few distinct flaws that we need to take a look at. So, obviously this is the bootleg. Like, look at the face. Here's the real version. Wow. This is $15. I sell this for $20. $5 more. You can get this. Looks a little better, doesn't it? So let's go over some flaws. First off, this Flareon has 3 different tags. I'm going to explain why that's a dead giveaway. A, this is a Banpresto prize tag. So that tag was actually only released, I'll show it again. It says Banpresto in the corner. It was only released on UFO catcher prizes in Japan. So this Flareon is modeled after the Tommy, or Takara Tommy, version of the sitting Flareon. Why would it have a Banpresto tag on it? And you used to be able to tell Plush apart really easily because they wouldn't have any tags at all. And that's not a dead giveaway anymore. They can replicate the tags exactly now. This is just a very extremely bad example. They can replicate Pokemon Center tags to a T, and you would never know. So some good things to watch out for are definitely the weird tags. It's good to get educated. This is the secondary tag on this Flareon. You can see it's a little washed out looking, and it's really funny because it actually has Game Freak on the bottom. It's an exact replica of the 2012 Eevee Evolution tags from the Pokemon Center. And the funny thing about the 2012 Eevees is they're actually standing on all fours. They're not sitting like the Takara Tommy ones. The third thing that's interesting about this is it's glaringly obvious. I'll show you why. Anybody see a problem? I don't know about you guys, but I haven't been to the Pokemon Contour recently. I don't know. I haven't been over to the Pokemon Contour. I'm not really sure what that is. Pokemon Contour. We're good at English. It's supposed to say Pokemon Center. Now, again, why there would even be a Pokemon Center tush tag on this is beyond me because it's replicating the Tommy version. Another way to tell is you have extremely poor build quality. This Flareon, you can rip his whole thing right off and like rip his neck off and make him naked. That's not right. He's not supposed to do that. The Pokemon Center would never release something like this. Tommy would never release something like this. The ears are like extremely poorly stitched. You can see like fluff coming out of there. The head fluff is like ready to rip off. It's literally glued on. So that's good. I'm glad I paid $15 for this because it's gonna last a day. And the tail is like it's like a cone. It's like a triangle of fluff. There's no shape to that at all. It just like what? It does have feet pads, so they do pay attention a little bit to the quality. And then the stitching of the eyes just looks horrible. And the mouth. The mouth is really bad on this one. The force is bad with this one. So let's look at the licensed one. Here's the licensed one. Are there notable differences? Yes. Let's take a look. The eyes are actually nice. You can see the stitching. It's extremely clean. There's no loose threads. I will say on some plush you do get a little loose threading sometimes, but they're mass produced, so that's why. But this is a very clean looking plush. You can see the ears are nicely detailed. They've got stitching all the way along, so there's like actually definition between the orange part and the black part. The fluff is not glued on, it's sewed on, which is that's a miracle, guys. Thanks for sewing that on for me so it doesn't fall apart. And you can't lift this part up. This part it's attached to the Flareon, which is how it's supposed to be. I don't think Flareon is like ripping off its neck anytime soon. So, and again, the feet pads, so they copied that detail on the bootleg. And that is a bootleg item that I showed you because it's a direct rip-off of this item. They weren't trying to be original in the slightest. They were like, there's one of those, let's copy that. So, for the tags, I mean, I've seen these tags bootlegged as well, so don't kid yourself. But usually, they'll have legit tags on them. So this is a Tommy product from North America. You can see that it has all of the information on the back. It's even got the supplier information, so take that as you will. There's the front of the tag from the X and Y series. Inside the tag, no Chinese writing at all. You just have pure good information. And the tush tag on this guy says Tommy Pokemon. Tommy Pokemon. Manufactured by Tommy. Doesn't say Pokemon Contour, does it? So, really, I mean, it's not that hard to tell the difference. It really bothers me with Plush when dealers' rooms... I always have people tell me, they're like, oh, people can't tell the difference. Vendors might not know. Vendors definitely know. All of them know. I know they do. Because I knew. I knew 2 to 3 months in. And all those vendors have been vending for years and years and years. They all know what they're doing. And you know what they're doing? They're in the dealer's room to make 100% profit off of your ignorance. That's what they're doing. I'm sorry. I'm extremely blatant about it. They are literally making money off of your stupidity. Do some research. It's not that hard to go over to a vendor and be like, this is all bootleg. I guarantee if a vendor has over 50% of their booth stocked with bootlegs, everything is going to be a bootleg. There's only very rare instances where vendors will have maybe a few things that are licensed that they just kind of stumbled upon on the internet. So, there's contracts whenever you enter into the dealer's room that state you cannot bring bootleg or unofficial merchandise into the dealer's room. You will be prosecuted. Every contract that I've ever signed has this on it. You sign it, and then nothing is ever done about it. And it's really funny because I'll go up to the head person running it, and I'll say, hey, that guy over there is knowingly selling bootlegs. A customer came over to me once at one of the cons in 2014, and they were so upset because they had bought a Pokemon item. They bought a Pikachu with a Raichu tail from one of the other vendors. And they said, I don't think this is right. And I said, go return it. And they went over, and they said the person won't return it. And I was like, I'll go with you. I'll go with you because that, honestly, that annoys me. So I went over. I said, this is a bootleg. I said, it has a Raichu tail. I said, you have to return this. I said, this is despicable. And the only way they would return it is when 3 of the con staff got involved.